Patriots fans probably will be missing them and really regretting the fact that, and I know they had to have their break at some point, but man, the way they played on Monday night, you hate to disrupt that vibe. You want to keep it going. The way they hit, the intensity they brought to the table, it was noticeable watching it on TV. Was it as noticeable for you at the game that it was just something different about this Patriots team than what we'd been seeing?
No, I think it's kind of in general, Mike, in snapshots, been there in almost every game, but it was a massive departure from the week before against Cincinnati when I thought they came out a little flat-footed and a little less urgent. And for an 11-2 team that has this late bye, I don't think any team could possibly deserve it more, because when you look at every week, when you're looking at a developing or emerging team, you keep saying, oh, when's the bloom going to come off the rose? When are they going to lay an egg? When is it going to be one of those 34-13 games where they just don't show up? And they haven't had it. And I really think that Cincinnati game that they emerged with a win on the road from, that might have been their egg. And so they had the flat game and then came back for the Buffalo game and played that well at the beginning. And that's been something that they've struggled with a little bit, is starting hot. They started hot, they carried it through. And this, to me, is a message for folks who are wondering, well, why is this team any good? Because they are totally and completely bought in, and the wind in their sails isn't their roster completely, and it isn't Drake May entirely. It's the buy-in and the resilience and the message that Vrabel has sent that they've just embraced.
And I think last week was so important, between the wobbly performance against the Bengals where they escaped with the victory. You've got the inherent distractions of Thanksgiving week. You've got a work day that necessarily isn't going to be as intense as a normal Thursday would be. You've got the bye coming up. You got the Bills and Ravens on the other side. You have the Giants that you just kind of like, they're just the Giants. Whatever buttons he pressed, however he poked and prodded, they were ready to go. He had them full speed, full intensity, full contact. And that's what impressed me, because that's a classic formula for a trap game. And I think he knew it from experience, and the last thing he was going to do was let his team step into it.
Especially on a Monday night when you've watched 3 Thursday games as a player, and they're watching them, and you've watched a Friday game, and then you've watched big games on Saturday in college football, and you've watched an entire slate of Sunday games, and you wake up Monday morning and you still have 12 hours to go before you play your game. There is the opportunity, and I think you're exactly right. Mike has been on this kick, and he's only said it a few times, but they've taken it as a mantra a little bit. No naps. And I'm a napper. I love to nap, so I hope that doesn't catch on everywhere. But he is trying to impose upon the team the idea that, look, just don't be flat. We're not good enough to be flat. We're not good enough to take plays off. And this game, too, I think captured their attention, because this was the first time that they really had a level of adversity with injuries. Will Campbell out. Jared Wilson out. That's the left side of their line. And it's 2 rookies, Mike, who had been playing since, mid-July is basically the starters at that spot. Now they're down. How do they respond against a team that has some potent pass rushers? And no Milton Williams, who's been terrific. And they've had 3 bad games against the run prior to that, relatively bad. And they just were ready to go, as you pointed out. So it'll be interesting to see how ready they will be down this stretch run, because it's kind of hanging out there. You have Jets and Dolphins, 2 teams with forgettable seasons, and you have 2 dangerous but limping a little bit teams in the Ravens and Bills. Can the Patriots actually have a meaningless week 18? 17 games, 18 weeks. But can they have a meaningless week 18 where they're actually have the bye sewn up? Because you look at the schedules of the other teams, they're very difficult. Could they have the bye sewn up as this team that won 8 games over the past 2 years?
And, you reminded me of something, Tom, as you mentioned that schedule. Yes, the Bills-Ravens games coming up are the 2 toughest ones remaining. But the Patriots under Belichick, even in the great years, the Belichick and Brady Patriots, they would periodically step into a pothole in one of those late season Jets or Dolphins games.
Yep. They often did, and I think the ones I'm mostly remembering are on the road in Miami. Those were often potholes, and I remember a Jets game with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Eric Decker lighting them up. But those were programs at that time. The Jets aren't necessarily a program yet under Aaron Glenn. Those were Rex Ryan programs. They had taken root. There was an interplay. It's really interesting to watch how this division is going. And I kind of look at it sometimes as a Ferris wheel. The Jets and Dolphins seemed like they might be going up, and they never really got to the top. The Bills have been at the top, and are they moving around to 3 o'clock? And the Patriots have been way down there at 6 o'clock, and now it feels like they're up at 11. So right now, this division is not as familiar as it has been in terms of who the teams are and what the agitations are and the familiarity where you can say, well, anything can happen. I don't know if that's the case right now.
What's the vibe for the fan base? Because you go from having that record run that you kind of, hey, it's good, let's enjoy it because we know it's going to end, and then it ends with a thud, no postseason wins since Super Bowl 53, back-to-back 4-13 seasons, and we're starting to think, is this the new reality? Is this just years of bad Patriots football? What's been the reaction to this idea that it is changing, it's changing quickly, and it could be changing in a way where we're back in the mix deep into the playoffs every single year like we used to be?
Yep. We're back. That's the general vibe. Not that the Patriots were in NFL purgatory for very long relative to other teams. I mean, I grew up here, started following them in 76, took 25 years for them to win a Super Bowl, and you didn't even see that one coming. And then they went on a run where we became, as New Englanders, accustomed to a level of winning that was foreign for the region from about 1986 on, Celtics on. So there's a chest puffing. There's a general chest puffing going on here. The biggest aspect of it, which is unmistakable even for a casual fan, is anybody can tell you the most important two things are a coach and a quarterback. And I came into the season, and when we do our myriad shows, it's, so where does Drake May fit in the grand scheme? Where is he ranked? And I kept saying he's about 22 right now. I would imagine by the end of the year, he's going to be around top 12. But until I see him walk off the field, and he was 1-9 as a starter coming into this year, until I see him walk off the field with more wins, walk off the field with late game good decision making to get the horse in the barn and tucked away, I'm going to be circumspect about whether or not he can do that. And the first two of the first three games, he again struggled. Now, unquestionably, after the last 11 games, where Mike, he has had 6 games over a 120 quarterback rating. That's the standard. That's what you can expect. It's going to be hard to manage that over the next 8 to 10 to 12 years of his career on a regular basis. But the standard is set. You saw him do it. You didn't see windows of it and glimpses. You saw an extended period of excellence with a group of receivers who most teams would say, I'm not trading for those guys.
Yeah, he had a run early on, and it wasn't that early because it was like 8 or 9 games with 200 or more passing yards, a passer rating of 100 or higher, and the list of guys who had done that was ridiculously short, with guys who won the MVP award every year they did it, like Peyton and Tom and Aaron Rodgers. And the common thread, Tom Brady, Drake May, Josh McDaniels. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.